From Variety, celebrating more than 119 years covering the business of entertainment, this is the Awards Circuit Podcast. Hack stars Paul W. Downs and Megan Stalter admit their characters Jimmy and Kayla may be platonic colleagues running a management firm, but their relationship is anything but normal.
You've said this before, that if Jimmy had a girlfriend, you would kill that person.
Right. Kayla's not like, oh, Jimmy's my boyfriend, but if Jimmy had a girlfriend, she would like slash her tires.
I'm Michael Schneider. On this episode of the Variety Awards Circuit Podcast, we talk to Paul W. Downs and Megan Stalter about Hacks, their characters Jimmy and Kayla, and why so much fan fiction is desperate to bring them together. But first, on the Awards Circuit Roundtable, we talk about the big Harry Potter TV series casting news. We also recount FYC season so far, and we look at the comedy series Emmy race. It's all next on this edition of the Variety Awards Circuit Podcast. Stay close. Hey everyone, it is the Variety Awards Circuit Roundtable. I am Michael Schneider, along with Emily Longaretta and Clayton Davis. And running down what's going on this week, we'll talk a little bit about the FYC events, the EE's coming out. We're going to chat comedy and more. But first, gang, headlines of the week. HBO, they have their Harry Potter and Company. So this was sort of the big derby on who are going to be the new unknowns who eventually will be superstars, I suppose.
I love that they went with unknowns and that more than 30,000 people auditioned for this, because I mean, we all know who we think of when we hear Harry Potter and those three main cast members. And I think that had to be right for it to even somewhat work. So, this cast is Dominic McLaughlin for Harry Potter, Arabella Stanton for Hermione Granger, and Alistair Stout as Ron Weasley. So.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong list. I saw The Rock, Timothy Chalamet, and Jenna Ortega. Oh, that's crazy. Not them. Got it.
That'll be the theatrical remake of the series.
Yeah.
But for now, I love, by the way, these are such UK names. Alistair Stout. That's a character in Harry Potter, right?
Jazz chose the wrong week to not be on this podcast.
I know, right?
Wait, can I ask, because I am obviously a fantasy nerd, but I never nerded into Harry Potter. So this series is going to be the movies just drawn out, correct?
I don't know.
Or do we not know that?
I think it's been going back and forth, right? Because originally the plan was it's sort of, finally they're going to do the full story, including all the things in the books that you couldn't see in the movie because they were limited by time. But then there was also talk that maybe there's going to be some prequel aspects of it. But the way they cast these kids is very reminiscent of when they cast the kids in the movies. So I feel like it's basically they're going chronologically through the books again, just like they did with the film.
Right.
It's just like they're also going to run to the problem of time. Time still goes, even in seasons.
Yeah.
So,
you look at the photo and go to variety.com to check out the photo of the kids. And they are very young right now. And so we're going to be watching these kids grow up in front of our eyes. The good news is, again, because they're British and not American, hopefully they have a chance of growing up normal and they're not going to be effed up in, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as Clayton pointed out, it's like we don't want to run into the Stranger Things problem where it takes so long in between seasons to create this, because we know the Harry Potter films have such amazing effects.
yeah.
If it takes a really long time to do these, all of a sudden the girl who plays Hermione is going to look 25.
Right, because she's going to be 25.
Like to be 25.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Just like the cast of Stranger Things, they're now all in their 40s. Which
Do we know how old these kids are? Are they like 11? They look like 11-year-olds to me.
Yeah, I don't think it was released how old they were. But yeah, they look like they could be like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, Sophia Davis also looks like she's 10 or 11, and she's 14. So you never know. These kids could be skewing.
I don't know. These days, kids look very different.
They do.
So.
But they're going to be surrounded by some big names, obviously, with John Lithgow and Janet McTeer, Papa Essidou, Nick Frost. So it's going to be interesting again to see. They learn on the job with some of the great masters of the craft. So that should be interesting to watch. See how they do. And I guess we'll
Emmys 2026.
I was going to say we'll be talking about them all in a couple of years
Right.
and future contenders. So, or maybe we'll be doing some panels with them, by the way. This, fast forward 2 years and suddenly we're going to be talking a lot to these kids. So
Kid panels are tough sometimes, man.
Yeah, I don't. That's a little bit.
So Mike, you do that first one for us, because I'm going to sit down with kids. Kids could be,
Mike, you've been everywhere this season doing FYC panels.
We all have, right?
I think you're number one for sure, though.
We've all had some great times. I do have to tell you, one of the special ones I did recently was for A Man on the Inside, which, as you know, I love that show. It's one of the shows that are sort of getting us through some of these real life troubled times. It's such a precious, precious warm bath of a show, like I like to say. And so for those who haven't seen the show, it takes place in a retirement home with, of course, national treasure, Ted Danson. So they held the FYC event at the Motion Picture Television Fund home up there in Woodland Hills. And so they actually invited a lot of the people who lived there who are retired to be in the audience, but they also beamed the panel into the rooms, for the people who possibly couldn't make it down so they could watch the screening and the panel live in their rooms, which I think was very special. And
I just love that.
Lovely that they did that. So that was definitely a highlight. Emily, you've done a ton as well. Have you had some highlights recently?
Yeah, I mean, I just did 4 seasons, which was so much fun for Netflix. That was, obviously Tina Fey. It's impossible. I was laughing through the whole panel. I mean, the creators, everyone is just so funny on that show. And the cast is such a delight too.
And by the way, shout out to Tina Fey for doing the work. I mean, she's been doing the campaign. She the NBC Universal luncheon a couple of weeks ago, and she's doing all of this. So that's she's really.
This is her first show back in front of the camera as a series regular in many years. So she would definitely talked about that and. A lot of fun. And then, of course, HBO kicked off their FYC season. And so they're FYC panels. So they're The Pit, and there's moderating that one. And there's just a lot of really fun ones coming.
Yeah. And you're doing something special with The Pit, too, where you're going to do some behind the scenes stuff. And
stay tuned to Variety Social, because we're going to be behind the scenes at a lot of some of these big upcoming FYC events. So.
Yeah, can I just mention something about The Pit? Because, FYC events, some people kind of toss it as such a non-factor of award season that can actually tell you something. The Pit FYC event was booked in a matter of record time. And currently right now, last week, it was 2,100 people on the waiting list, and now they're down to 1,963. So, I mean, I don't see that number very often. People, and Noah Wiley, not... bow down to you, sir. Yes, you're famous. But for a cast of mostly unknowns, it really just shows that the Pit's dangerous, man. The Pit is the worst thing I think that maybe ever happened to Severance. I think give this show some time and see what it comes up with on Emmy morning, and this show could be Homeland season 1 and just take it.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm here for it.
No,
even stronger than Last of Us, I'd argue. Much stronger.
It's amazing.
No, it's making a race there. How about you, Clayton? What FYC events have you enjoyed recently?
I did YouTube with all the creators, which was super fun. And then I did.
Well, you're getting to know those guys really well. How many wings have you eaten?
Sean Evans did invite me out to Hot Ones, and then as a Puerto Rican black man, I said, "Sir, I can't, because if halfway through I quit, I can't go to my community anymore." So
you have to return your card.
There's no way I could do it. So I think I could, but I said I would have to be able to say a veto in the middle of it, and if I quit, you can't air this. But aside from that, I had Paul Giamatti at the SAG Foundation last week for Black Mirror, who is a national treasure, much like Ted Danson, and he's like a Beatle. I swear to God, he feels like a Beatle in a lot of ways. He's that journeyman actor that people just love, and has the best episode of Black Mirror that's ever been made, in my opinion. So
it's pretty fantastic.
It's well deserved.
Very great. Yeah.
Can I also just say one thing? Because the Handmaid's Tale FYC is tomorrow at time of recording, and a little bit of news: Alexis Bledel, who has a guest spot in the final episode of the series, has to go into supporting actress because of this new Emmy rule.
You just really hate this rule.
I was looking for this. I was looking for this specific example of someone who's been nominated in both guest and supporting for the same role, but really wasn't a supporting actress. And she only qualified that 1 year because she was in one too many episodes. And because of that 1 year, and she's the Emmy winner and guest, she has to go into supporting for a single episode of television. It's just such a dumb rule.
So listen, if they change this rule, which they need to, and hopefully they will, whatever the new rule is, I want to call it the Clayton Davis rule.
Because I shamed them.
Pushing this the most. Like, this is ridiculous. We need to change this. And you're absolutely right. It makes no sense.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I was thinking of examples with a buddy of mine, and I think of you, Emily, for this. Like, Law and Order has so many spin-offs all the goddamn time. If Mariska Hargitay jumps in a future Law and Order that's just like, she jumped an episode, why does she have to go into lead actress if she's on that one episode of the alleged spin-off series?
Wait, that's true. She can't go supporting, or you're just saying if it was the
she
same?
would have to go into a main acting category if she was on a single episode of some future spin-off. Is she on Chicago PD or Law and Order?
No, I'm saying if she showed up.
Yeah. In Chicago, yes. Oh, I didn't even think about it that way. Yes. And like a crossover would even be crazy. Because like your great cover last week, Mike, with Caitlin and Rob. Caitlin can go into guest for Abbott because she's never been nominated for It's Always Sunny.
Right.
And that's a really kind of unfair advantage.
That's interesting. So, but if she had been, then she couldn't, even though it was a guest spot on Sunny.
Interestingly, if It's Always Sunny had come back in this cycle, she would have to choose one or the other. She couldn't submit both.
Right, because it's the same character.
Same character on two different shows. You have to pick one.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So that's
shame.
It's a lot. It's pretty wild for shows that are in the same universe as each other. For like when people pop over on other shows, it is pretty insane. I mean, if the Law and Orders were in this contention and in the conversation, as they should be, but of course they get ignored. That would definitely be a conversation because Mariska pops up on Organized Crime, and so.
Well, hey, as we're talking about FYC and we're getting into June now, of course, it's also Emmy Extra Edition season. We call them EEs here internally, but they are starting to roll out. We started with Actor last week with Stephen Graham. So Emily is in charge of all of these. So she's been working her ass off getting these issues out, and they're finally coming to fruition. So Emily, give us a little sneak preview on what's to come and what's going on with the EEs.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, Stephen Graham was the first one. Our next one, which came out the day of recording this, of course, the day of the major Handmaid's Tale series finale, was Elizabeth Moss. So that's an incredible story.
Yeah.
And in that issue, there's just a lot of really fun stuff. Melanie Linsky and Sophie Nélisse talking about playing a villain and how male villains are heroes on TV and really fun to watch, but people don't like to watch female villains. And I thought it was a very interesting take and very true, actually. But going forward, I'm not going to give away too much, but the day of release for this podcast is going to be the drama issue, May 29th, and Severance is the cover. It is Adam Scott and Ben Stiller. They do not hold back. They talk a lot about how long it took in between filming. There's the rumor of tensions on set and how Ben Stiller goes about that. And the floating of ideas around spinoffs and what's kind of in the works. And Ben also talks about how he was considered to be in the show as well, and they decided to change that last minute. And he decided.
That's interesting.
Wait, from the jump or this season specifically?
No, from the jump. There was a character they thought about writing for him, and they had talked a lot about it. And then all of a sudden, suddenly, they decided to change it, and he's
well done.
He's thrilled with that.
Good call.
Yeah, I think it's really great. Photo shoot was a lot of fun. There's a lot of great stories in there. In that, of course, Mike is writing his column in each week, which has been so much fun. And I would say in the drama issue is my favorite one I've read so far, which is kind of about life imitating art, imitating life, which is on TV in many different ways this season. So things I didn't even think about. So it was really cool to read that. And then the other story I want to shout out in that issue is Alexi Hawley wrote a story for us about the power of broadcast and why today it is coming back more and more for younger people. Broadcast is becoming must-watch TV again. And it's a really interesting, as someone who he was, of course, he's creator of The Rookie, but he also created The Recruit on Netflix. And it just didn't even see anywhere near the amount of conversation that The Rookie's getting, which is so interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, that was such a Mike story.
Like 10 seasons.
And like all over my TikTok. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. But he talks about kind of why and how that's happening. I don't want to give away our covers coming forward, but I will say to keep an eye out because there is one, not to toot my own horn, but one that I believe everyone will be talking about. So I will just
the Harry Potter kids. We're getting early on it.
We
It
like
is people who have yet to do an interview together. That's all I'll say.
you already have your 2027 covers booked.
For Harry Potter, yeah, that is by far going to be the drama cover in 2027.
No, but I like a good teaser. So,
Yeah.
so this week's episode, as Hacks is coming to another season end, it's been another fantastic year. Still love that first episode because, again, there were some great guest stars in that first one. But in the finale, a lot happens. But for this week's episode, I have Paul W. Downs and Megan Stalter because Jimmy and Kayla, of course, that relationship continues to be a standout. And they were just fun to have in the studio to talk about their characters' relationships. Megan Stalter is just nuts to begin with, so you never know what you're going to get with her. Paul's just a lot of fun too. So Hacks. I mean, Hacks is continuing to be a force, and with the question of the bear, and we still don't know what the bear's new season looks like. If the bear is back in full force and people suddenly love the bear again, that could impact season 3 voting because, as we know, people don't know the difference. But it does feel like it's Hacks to lose in the comedy category. But Clayton, what are you predicting right now?
No, I feel like Hacks has moved down on your list, Clayton.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Julianne Nicholson episode really gave it a good boost, and that's actually going to be their directing and writing submission, which I think is a brilliant choice.
Yeah,
for them. Hacks, for me anyway, has an up and down kind of trajectory of how it is received each season. The odd number seasons are always like acclaimed, and obviously that's when it won for season 3, and then 2 and 4 now. It seems like it. There are people who love Hacks, and then there are people who are definitely looking at this season not as strong as last season, and it's always that's always a tough nut to crack. It's going to do fine. It's going to be among the most nominated comedies, but I still think this is the studio's to lose. I think it is inside baseball in the best way. Like, someone tried to use that as an excuse for me. They were like, "Oh, don't you think it's too inside baseball to win the Emmys?" I was like, "It's inside baseball to the people who vote on the Emmys, like specifically. Like, there's no one there's no one else that it needs to appeal to." So I think the studio, the Bear, and the Hacks will have a nice fight out for it. I mean, I always wait for that one day. Maybe Abbott gets a nice, pat for existing in this day and age. But
right, speaking of the broadcast phenomenon, and and then no one ever talks about Ghosts. Ghosts is another broadcast show that's amazing. It does very well in the ratings, but it hasn't really gotten the Emmy attention.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. Like, I think when you're week to week, you have to really deliver in that week to week format to become water cooler chatter. And Abbott does that. But even Abbott, I would argue, struggles to stay consistently in the discussion, even with a week to week format. So it just shows you, like, in this era of just binge, it's hard to remain in the zeitgeist. But that's something that I think has helped the 4 seasons. The 4 seasons dropped as a binge, and I think was its best strategy. It dropped right at the end. People are discovering it. They're liking it. It's definite passion people out there for it. And then there are people that are like, not so, but I think when you have that cast, I think it's going to do pretty well.
Yeah. I really hope so. I have hope for Shrinking to still, I think it'll be nominated, but I just hope it kind of gets the attention that it deserves. That's
a weird one for me, especially when I feel like people are like telling me that, like, oh, Harrison Ford's going to win. I was like, we were just here 2 years ago.
But this was his best. He was so good this season.
Listen, I don't know if you recall, Emily, that first season, there was no moving Harrison Ford from number 1. Like, I was so convinced he was winning, and then he didn't even get nominated. So I am just now weary. I'm trying to think of a show. I was actually thinking of a example of a show that missed that bad season 1 and came back strong on The Actor 1 season 2. And my example was Jeremy Strong for Succession. Everyone missed first season, and then season 2, it did what it did. So there is hope for him, but I'm also on the Ike train at the moment. I'm thinking he might actually pull it off.
Sal Saperstein. Yeah.
Sal Saperstein.
I mean, he's so good.
It's really good.
Yeah. Last week's podcast guest. So, we're...
last question for you guys, because we have a comedy dropping tomorrow. Adults. Have you watched this yet?
I have not watched yet, but I've been getting the emails, and I'll put it on in my, and check it out.
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. I can't believe we're in this era where we're dropping shows.
Well, we still have Mountainhead. We have Mountainhead, the TV movie, coming on Saturday after this podcast. Even
the actual drop dead date, and Jesse Armstrong's like, I got it.
Thanks, Jess.
And Steve Carell trying to pull through for 2 different categories here. So, and he could. I mean, he easily could. I could see him getting nominated for both Four Seasons and Mountainhead. So it's wild.
Just to add here, I binged all weekend Overcompensating on Prime Video. Such a good show, and it shouldn't be good.
Oh, it is funny. Already really for Amazon, they're like, "What a twa!" It's all about overcompensating for us. That is our comedy show.
Such a good pivot, because that show is really, really good. Not for kids in the room. Learned that the hard way. No one was just sitting there, and then I had to just bring up his tablet a little higher so he can watch it more. But no, it's a really good show. And like in this era where like social media people are transitioning to TV world, some not really successfully, it actually hits all the marks. It's a really, really good show. And Connie Britton's on it. And she's such a good guest art. And Kyle MacLachlan. It's all royalty.
Queen Connie Britton.
And Charlie XCX. It's great.
That's a great mix. So well, that's a good one to pick. One more thing, Emily and I are going to be in Austin this weekend for the ATX TV Festival. So if you happen to be in town, come to our panels or come say hi, one of the two.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
How long are you there for?
We're there for the weekend, so going Thursday and coming back Sunday.
Yeah. So if you want to buy us barbecue, we are also open to that.
Not going to say no. I could always take barbecue and a beer between panels. I mean,
absolutely.
And a beer.
I mean, you know what? You're in Austin.
When in Austin?
It's going to be so hot.
Let's go, Em.
When in Austin. All right. So Paul and Megan up next. And in the meantime, we will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, kiddos.
After the break, Hacks co-creator, exec producer, director, and star Paul W. Downs, along with star Megan Stalter. From Los Angeles, this is the Variety Awards Circuit Podcast. And we're back. It's the Variety Awards Circuit Podcast. I'm Michael Schneider. Hacks centers on the relationship between washed-up comedian Deborah Vance, played by Jean Smart, whose career gets a new spark after she begins working with young writer Ava, played by Hannah Einbeiner. The high highs and low lows of the relationship between Deborah and Ava is the backbone of the Emmy-winning series. But fans have also taken to the awkward relationship between Deborah's rep, Jimmy, played by series co-creator, exec producer, and director Paul W. Downs, and his assistant-turned-management firm partner Kayla, played by Megan Stalter. Downs and Stalter have been reading your Jimmy and Kayla fan fiction, and they get it. There's no doubt that this is a love story, but it's an unconventional one.
Kayla, it's Saturday. You gotta start using that calendar I gave you.
Oh, no, I know. I heard you had to cancel your trip to Cabo this weekend because you had to work. I thought I'd come here in case you need anything.
Oh.
Plus, I feel so bad about your trip that at lunchtime, I'm gonna make you a pina colada. Bring a little island to you, brother.
Oof, okay. Not an island. Also, be careful with the accent, but that's actually very sweet. Just do me a favor. Could you make it virgin since I'm working?
I don't think I can, but I can try.
As Hacks completes its Season 4 and preps for a newly renewed Season 5, Downs and Stalter sat down with Variety's Award Circuit Podcast to talk about the show, the relationship between their characters, and more. We began by talking about what is starting to be pitched for Season 5.
I really, really want Kayla to be pregnant.
Now with Jimmy's baby or with TBD?
I think she doesn't really know who the father is.
Okay, this is good mystery.
She knows it's not Jimmy, but Jimmy steps up as the father,
Yeah.
which I keep pitching to.
I love it. I am a father figure.
Yeah.
Such
It would be good.
Sweet,
Or
yes.
it's the opposite where she gaslights Jimmy. Like, we know that he's not the father because they've never hooked up, but yet after a couple of weeks, he starts to wonder,
Am I?
am I?
What happened here? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, he does say, like, are we a couple?
That's right.
Right? He
No
has
spoilers. When is this-
Oh,
when is this
sorry,
dropping?
Sorry.
No,
No, he
it's
doesn't.
okay.
No, he doesn't say
So-
that.
That happens like in 2 days.
He always
when does this
wonders.
podcast?
It's not going to drop in 2 days. So
He always
you're okay.
wonders anyway,
I always
doesn't
wonder.
he?
I do. Doesn't everyone? Yeah.
Well, the dynamic between the two obviously has shifted, and we've seen most recently that in some ways, Kayla's the one driving this ship now. Kayla's the
Now.
She always secretly had her hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
Yes.
tried to, even though she shouldn't have.
Sometimes
And-
she should have let go of the
Yeah,
wheel, you know?
yeah.
But yeah,
She's always trying to hold on with him.
But it's funny, for the longest time as viewers, you know, we're just sort of conditioned to think that, well, Jimmy's the adult here.
Mhm.
He knows like how to run this business, and Kayla's always been sort of just, you know, Kayla.
How old do you think Kayla is?
wow, this is a dangerous question. Put him on the
I
spot.
mean,
she's going to turn the tables on
Yeah.
24.
Whoa!
Wow.
Okay, honey.
you. Okay.
Add 10 years.
Well, Kayla has a childlike essence, you know,
she has a childlike
like
wonder.
a sense of wonder and a sense of whimsy, you know.
That I just also did that to butter up Megan, but
I actually was like, okay.
Megan's
Gen Z.
disgusted by youth, actually. That's
Exactly. That was-
defining things about Megan.
I'm actually playing older, trying to play older.
exactly.
Yeah, she auditioned for Deborah. We said, you'd be good for Kayla.
Yeah.
But we liked her read. It was funny.
But so there's that moment where she goes back to her dad, and her dad like actually has the compliment, like you're the bulldog here, like, you know, Jimmy's like he's yesterday's news, and that's the first time as a viewer really I'm like, yeah, you're right. All this season, like she's the one who brought in Dance Mom. I mean, she's
Lassie.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and Jimmy's just getting bit by Lassie and bit by Dance Mom. So
She also found our new assistant in
She
Randy,
did.
played
Yeah.
by Robbie Hoffman. So
Robbie Hoffman, who is incredible.
So
yes, she's
funny.
learned a lot from us on set.
Yeah.
No, we've been fans of Robbie's forever. She's so funny.
But so yeah, so everything that the reason why this agency is still operating is because of Kayla. So
Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
Oh.
I feel like Jimmy, even though there's been some mishaps, Kayla would never even be in this position without her guy.
true.
Thank you. That's
She's
sweet.
loyal to him.
That's sweet.
And he is the one, they realize they need each other.
They do need
They
each
do,
other.
Yeah.
just like Deborah and Ava need each
Yeah.
other. And I will say, to Jimmy's credit, he does keep Deborah and Ava from killing each other.
Yes.
To a certain extent, he has a lot of damage control in terms of their friction.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him though when he's not in the loop.
I
You know,
know.
but partly that's because his clients are trash. I mean,
None of the
they're
girls would be where they are without Jimmy,
they're-
actually.
yeah, and they don't get it, and they're
Ladies' man.
kind of awful. So
Well, they're really caught up in what
Hey,
they're doing.
hey,
Hey,
hey.
they're,
They have-
they're running a late night show. It's very hard to keep up.
it's not
you
easy.
know?
Yeah,
It's hard to, manage everyone's feelings on your
Mhm.
staff, with your manager. There's a lot of stuff to balance. They have a lot of plates in the
We're
air.
really protective over all the characters, aren't we?
We
I go,
are.
hey,
Hey.
watch it.
I do love them.
yeah.
All of them.
No, and now that we've been with them for a
Mhm.
while, it is that classic thing of like you see them as real people, like
Oh, yeah.
they're
I just
real,
feel like that.
and so I can kind of even predict how they're going to act and what their dynamic is, including Jimmy and Kayla, but also obviously Deborah and Ava, and that topsy turvy, like really toxic relationship, but
There's been a lot of romantic fan edits of them I've seen.
Oh, yes.
People like are really romanticizing. I obviously don't. I don't. Their bond is so
She's
strong.
going on the record. Here we go.
Yeah.
I will say. I mean, I don't see them as a couple.
Okay.
But I understand why their relationship's so romantic.
Yeah.
Because not all relationships that are romantic, they're not
Are
dating.
sexual.
Yeah, exactly. Their bond is like unworldly.
it transcends that.
I think that's so well said.
Yeah.
It is a love story.
Yeah, it's a love story, and it is
Yeah.
romantic, by the way.
Yes.
Keep the fan edits coming,
Yes.
but they will not, I don't think, be girlfriends. But that would be so
Only
funny.
time will
Next
tell.
season,
Only time will tell. Well,
we open up there in the same apartment.
Or they're in Santorini, putting suntan lotion on each other. Okay, I have something to pitch. No. Yeah, I think it's a love story also between Jimmy and
Yeah,
Kayla.
yeah.
Like, I love the moment in this season when you're going to the movies and he's like, well, let me know what you're going to see because there's some things I want to see. And then you say,
He's
love you. And
jealous.
Jimmy says, love you.
You
know,
think
it
he's a
is-
little jealous? Like, okay,
He
Kayla
is
wants to go to the
jealous.
movies. She didn't even invite me all of a sudden.
You
You,
know-
you want to be invited.
I think if you've said this before, that if Jimmy had a girlfriend, you would
Mhm.
kill that person.
Right.
You would
Kayla's
murder.
not like, oh, Jimmy's my boyfriend. But if Jimmy had a girlfriend, she would like slash her tires.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think Jimmy might get a little jealous if Kayla had
Yes.
a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
The boyfriend comes to the office. You think Jimmy's like, wait a
Oh.
second. Who the hell is that?
Yeah. He would be very protective.
He would.
He would be so
Another
protective.
unworldly relationship. Like Kayla and Jimmy aren't sexual, but they love each other deeply, like family.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think we want to see them as sexual either. I think I sort of
we
like
don't.
this.
Okay, well, now he's
Okay,
on the
news to
record.
us.
Okay, news to us. Because there are some fan edits. There's some beautiful erotic
Yeah,
fiction.
some people do want to see them
I've seen a couple
dating.
sketches and I like
what
it.
have you guys seen? Like what's been the most sort of like
I've
out
seen
there?
this anime kind of like no, I actually shouldn't describe it on here. I don't know.
Oh, you can. This is not
no,
a family podcast.
It's not.
No.
It's TVMA.
No, we're
it's
I've
Kid-
seen a
kid-
beautiful
DMA.
song
Kids go
with
away.
clips of us from the show.
Oh, there's a lot of songs.
yeah,
there's a lot
a beautiful romantic song.
Yeah.
What do they call those? Fan cam?
Yeah, like a
cam?
fan cam of us. I've seen that.
Yeah. And does that give you any ideas? Like, if do the fans want it? Does this mean that you need to sort of like get fan service?
We try not to. We try to deliver every season a better season than the last for the fans. We try and like let them enjoy the show and the thing they've come to love. But we try also not to get too influenced.
Yeah,
by what they're
we
putting
can't let
out
them
there.
Well, I'm not one of the writers, of course, but
Well, if she gets pregnant, you absolutely are.
Yeah.
You know that's her pitch. It's here.
You get story credit or something for that one.
you can't give them everything they're asking for. Then it's just like they're.
Then it's just
Yeah.
a sleaze fest,
Yeah, of
you know.
course.
But you guys don't want to see that, right? Because they're kind of brother sister.
They are, well, I think of them more
Yeah.
like kissing cousins,
Yes,
or like
yes,
cousins, like
yes,
cousins. You
So
know,
it's like, okay, maybe it would be legal in some states.
yeah,
You're
or
actually
it's
the
taboo,
only
but-
one I've ever met that doesn't want them to be. In a
Wow. Okay, you're
relationship.
calling it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's-
A lot of people do want it. Actually,
Yeah.
Cola Scola was part of the very, very first Blue Sky we did.
Yeah.
We did like a week with some great writers. And after watching season 1, Cole texted me and said, well, Jimmy and Kayla will be married. By the end of the series, they will be married.
Well-
and I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe.
I can't see them dating. I could see them married.
Yeah, well,
like I
yeah.
can see them literally being endgame, but not like going on a date. But I could see them being like that having kids together.
Well,
if
and
that
that's my
makes sense.
corollary is I don't think it's ever going to be romantic or sexual. I think they may just end up together. And
Yes.
That's true.
Okay, now we got it.
That's
Yes,
That's
this
true.
is-
I don't know how this
exactly.
happened. We're now married. We
Yeah.
now have 2 kids,
Yes,
but
that's
like,
what I
there was
mean.
never like what happened. I think
Yes.
it's just like that's probably more realistic.
But that's rich. That gives you a lot to unpack. And like, what happens when they're both midlife? Like, do they say,
Yeah.
why did we do this? Like seasons 19, 20, like there's a lot to explore. There's
Yeah.
a lot to mine, which is good.
Yeah. And again, it's like you're surrounded by all these people who could have like put you in the right direction, but they're so focused on their own lives that Deborah will just be like, okay, sure.
Oh, yeah. They have no
Yeah.
input on.
Well, you know what's interesting? Even though they're both single, if one of them had got a partner, it would change their relationship. Just like how Deborah got a little bit weirded out when she realized Ava didn't
Yeah.
share something about her relationship
Yeah,
status.
That's right.
No,
With the
that
polycule this
yeah,
season.
too
that
close, right?
definitely threw her off. But then that was sort of in some way what sort of finally turned the corner, and she's now they're back together. And,
They are.
but for how long, right?
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
The other thing that this season is a love letter to is the Americana at Brand. Shout out to the
Yes.
Americana
Yeah,
at
shout
Brand.
out. Give them a shout.
I love that they have. A
I
movie
love
theater.
it there. Isn't it
They
fun to
have
shoot there?
everything.
It's the best.
I love it there.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's such a weird, like the whole and I know you guys have discovered some secrets about who lives in those apartments up there above the mall.
Yes.
I didn't hear them.
We heard a rumor that there are some women who rent pied-a-terres for their lovers or for their like to have like a little like love, what do you call it? Like a bachelor pad.
They're
but
kind of like
for gals.
mafia wives, right?
Yeah. And
Really?
basically because what is on the credit card statement is like the Americana at Brand. So it looks like they've gone on a shopping spree, but maybe they've
Oh my
had
God, no.
and I don't know if I'm at risk for even saying it. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
Well,
The
my
secret's
lips
out.
are sealed. The keys thrown away. I would
Look.
never tell.
But it's like, oh, I just bought a lot of things at Anthropology.
Exactly.
Oh, but
It's-
it's their
I was at
apartment.
Bottega, babe.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I was
that's so
really
interesting.
in my pied-a-terre taking a long bath with my lover. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we went up to those apartments. They're pretty nice.
We do shoot.
Yeah,
they're
you shot
beautiful.
in some.
Yeah, we shot in some. Yeah.
And you guys also, your office is that American Cement building
It
down
is.
by MacArthur Park,
An
which
iconic-
is iconic.
Iconic building
You
here
guys
in Los
went-
Angeles. Yeah.
You went iconic this season, which is part of what I love about Hacks is how much you guys also have been a little bit of a love letter to LA.
Oh, I mean, we've had so much fun this season because it's set in LA, getting to really showcase LA. Because even though the Jimmy Kayla storyline has always been in Los Angeles, so much of it is set in Vegas. But yeah, this season we got to really showcase a lot of Los Angeles and a lot of like television history with TV City and the backlot of
Mhm.
Universal. TV City, which by the way is maybe going to become an Americana. We hope not. Yes, I think that's a thing. I think Caruso
Yeah.
wants to take it over and turn it. Yeah, but it is it's a historic monument.
We have enough outside malls.
I know.
You
Love
have-
them though we do.
Yeah,
I think we got
of
enough.
course the Grove.
because what are people doing more these days than going to the mall? That's a very 2025
Outdoor
thing.
malls will always be here, right? Like the
I
Beverly
think
Center is
so.
kind of scary, actually, to me.
Yeah, but it has a real
indoor
like
mall.
Jersey feel, and I'm from there, so sometimes it's a little bit homey.
Yeah.
I actually
sometimes I
think
like
it's
it.
the high end stores in there that
Freak you?
that freak me. But I love an inside mall
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah,
Yeah. And luckily there's still a few that exist. The Galleria right next to the
Yeah.
Americana
There's not many.
is still thriving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's really not.
But it is the end of an era.
Yeah.
But this has been mall talk. So
yeah. This has been mall talk.
but I do love that when you go to the Beverly Center and it does it's 1997.
Yeah.
It's a
And in
total
a way,
time
isn't that
warp.
uplifting? In a way, I mean,
I know.
it wasn't a bad era.
It's
Yeah.
the classic make it 1997 again through magic or time travel.
Yeah.
So it would be nice for all of us to do that.
it would.
So
I'd be back in the 4th grade. It'd be great. Anyway,
yes. But yeah, so loving it again, obviously we know what happened to Deborah's real life, the character's real life house in Altadena.
yeah,
And-
such a loss, so tragic. I mean, everything in Altadena. I mean, that whole neighborhood.
So
All the way to we used to get Side Pie, which was such a great pizzeria over there in Altadena when we would shoot there. That's gone. I mean, so much was tragically
Yeah.
lost in the fires. It was really crazy.
Yeah, and you guys had a little card, like a little tribute at the end of the
Yeah.
episode, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. A lot of our shooting over the past 4 seasons has been in Altadena, and it's been such a welcoming community. And also, I feel like it was a really nice moment in Los Angeles for the city to come together. And so, we just felt like it was appropriate, especially because in that episode we feature that house so much,
Mhm.
which is a house that has been in film and television for a century. I mean, Charlie Chaplin shot a movie in that house. It's like an amazing spot. So we also lost the Rand McNally house, which was the house that Christopher Lloyd lived in last
Mhm.
season.
It's so sad.
Yeah. No, and that was completely historic.
Yeah.
Well, so back to TV City, you guys shot the actual show within a show. Was that the James Corden stage that you guys took over?
We actually shot on Conan's stage, the stage that they built at Universal when he took over the Tonight Show, and then became Steve Harvey, and then I think Kelly Clarkson after that. So we shot on stage 1 at Universal for her show, but the exterior was TV City.
Yeah. So it's always they'll be in TV City one second, then suddenly they'll be
Yes.
on the Universal lot.
It is an amalgamation. It is like a
That's fine.
fantasy lot in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only the people who know.
Yes.
All right. A little creative license. You're allowed. But
you'll notice in the color grade we did make the buildings match. So there was some attention brought to trying to make it more cohesive.
Yeah. No, but you guys did a great job with building that set. I mean, it feels legit, and
it felt like a late night show. I just did Kimmel last night, and it was so trippy because I'm like, this feels like what I did, for the entire run of Hacks. It really did feel like we were making a late night show.
Yeah, and Kimmel was great. With
oh
his
my gosh,
cameo,
wasn't
too.
he great? I was so glad he went there and was really because at first he was like, I don't want to be mean to Deborah Vance. I don't want to be mean to Gene Smart, but he ended up bringing a lot of his own dialogue, and it was so funny.
He wasn't nervous to people would be like, is that how he is in real life?
I think people who do that have the best sense of humor, and they're not an asshole. Like if you're someone who plays yourself playing an asshole,
I would never watch that and think he's actually like that.
I think people get really protective of playing themselves because they don't want people to think it's real.
Yeah.
But why would they? They're watching a show.
Exactly.
But anyway,
it's kind of become cool to play yourself as an asshole version of yourself. That seems to be
so funny.
A lot of people do it.
Yeah.
I did it in the studio. I mean, not really. I didn't play an asshole version.
No, but
I just played
you
myself.
did get to play a version of yourself.
Yeah.
So, and as an actor, like, what is that like then to suddenly play a version of yourself as a producer of a show where you play yourself? That's very Inception now.
That is very Inception. I don't even know. I think I'm still doing it. I think I'm still in character from that. But
Yeah. As the Paul W. Downs, quote unquote.
yeah, it was easy. That was easy.
Were you nervous to play like yourself? Even if it's not mean, just like
No, I wasn't.
overthinking it?
I wasn't nervous.
Because you're a perfect performer.
No.
But what
I'm
about
not.
what about Jen and Lucia? Because you're obviously in front of the camera a lot. But
Yes.
what was it like for them, and how was it like for the three of you to do that together?
Well, the three of us met doing improv and sketch, so they both have a performance background
True.
and they do love it. I think Jen is really resistant to do it. I think she retired a long time ago.
Mhm.
Lucia, not so much. Lucia would love to do it. Lucia was in Broad City, and Lucia,
So
I think
funny.
for Lucia, it was like so fun. Even she reads parts and table reads, and she is so funny.
She's so funny. I'm always like, you got to do.
I know.
You got to be in the show.
Meg does do that a lot. She's like,
Yeah.
you should play that part. You
She-
got to play that part.
And she hasn't, right, been on Hacks.
She
at
has
all?
not been on
She
Hacks.
needs
No.
So why
to take
why-
the role.
She does. She needs to just take the mantle.
So what's
take the
the
role.
hesitancy?
There isn't
To,
one. There
to
just
put,
hasn't. There
put
hasn't.
words in your wife's mouth.
There hasn't been the perfect part.
Yeah.
She's never going to be the kind of person to write a part for herself. We leave that to me. So she would, I think if there was a part that spoke to her, she might be like, oh, I could do this one. But also because she directs the majority of the episodes, it is a lot to do. I mean, we write very dense scripts and we shoot a lot in a day, and we do a lot of alts and a lot of rewriting on the day. So because of that, it's really hard to do both. Speaking from experience, doing both is a challenge. I tend to, if I can, direct episodes that I'm in the least, so that I can just focus on the scene work and the writing. But when you're in it and you're directing, it's a lot.
So speaking as someone who played themselves on an episode of Hacks, episode 1, go back, check
That's
it
right,
out.
my castmate. Oh my gosh, our castmate is here. We should be having a cast party. What are we doing a podcast?
What was it like for you to go to the studio and sort of, in some ways, I mean, you guys are, you're there's a little turf battle. You're both fighting for the, the Emmy this time of year. What was that like? And then for Seth to come on Hacks, I mean, this is like a little foreign exchange
Crossover.
program.
Well, when
yeah.
you're in the Illuminati, you're on a text chain. So he just texted me. No, we are such. It feels like we are all like we really appreciate each other. I mean, everybody who makes that show, and Seth has been a supporter of Hacks for a long time. So I don't know. We're all friends, and it's Friends of the Court, and it was very flattering to be asked to do his show, and then it was so nice that he graciously returned the favor, because we did shoot his before we asked him to do ours. But yeah, it just feels like we're just happy to see comedies being made, and especially comedies that celebrate film and television feels particularly special.
Yeah.
So we really, we're big fans of the show and supporters of their show.
And there was a brief moment where I thought, oh, I'm going to see all of Seth Rogen on Hacks right now.
I know.
It came
Well,
very close.
had he chosen to, he could have, but we did keep him Me Too free. We kept him covered, but he was great. And Kaya Grover was so great to do it.
She's so funny. And
She's so
sweet.
funny.
I
She
love
is,
her.
and brilliant too.
Yeah, she
really, really
is.
brilliant. She's one of our best.
Mm-hmm.
So, Megan, do you have any dream guests that you'd love to see come on the show, or you would love to?
Lucia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
That is my dream guest. Every table read, I always say you should be in it. Please.
I love that.
I've asked Jen too, but she doesn't really. She doesn't want
She doesn't have
No.
a burning
be
desire.
in front of the camera, so it feels scary to be pushing someone that doesn't want to be in
Yes,
the
you
camera.
want consent. You need her to say
But
yes. I
I've
want
seen an open door with Lucia. I've seen a spark in her eye. So
to. Yes.
and she's so funny on Broad City. So
She is iconic on
So
Broad
one of them can play Kayla's obstetrician, perhaps.
I mean,
or
imagine Lucia just comes in. She's Kayla's best friend.
yeah.
Love. Why not?
So I'm like, hey, let's go to the mall.
I think Randy would be very jealous, but yeah.
Well,
Because
there we
Robbie,
go.
You're Robbie Hoffman's the only friend right now.
There we go.
She's just
There's
moved.
the drama.
It's all about conflict. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
There is conflict in comedy.
See, there's so
Um,
much churning right now. So where are you guys in terms of writing next season? How far along?
When is this dropping?
It's dropping in the next month.
In the next month.
Yes.
Well, Jen, Lucia, and I think about the show constantly,
Mhm.
near nonstop. It's
Add my name to the list.
oh,
of
you do
who's
too.
thinking about it
Mm.
constantly.
I'm so glad. But we've been thinking about it and kind of working on the the big picture of season 5 for about a month. And we've actually had our writer's room for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yes. So we have been talking. We have been talking about what if Kayla does date somebody, actually.
Who would it be? Gender. Just tell me the gender.
Oh, we don't even know. That's the thing. We don't even know.
We don't even know.
And would it be a celebrity?
Charlie
or-
XCX.
Great.
That would be
Great.
so fun.
She'd be great.
She would be so great.
We've used her music on the show.
Could you not? And she should play herself.
I was going to say she'd have
But
to play
Kayla
herself.
is literally
Yes.
dating her.
Okay, cool.
By the way,
I could see that happening, actually.
Charlie leaves her fiance.
that's kind of
Kayla.
amazing.
I know, right?
It's
Okay.
kind of,
It's
Ripped from the
unexpected.
headlines.
and then Lord shows up,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the Lord is jealous.
Yeah.
And
We don't
there's
know
a-
which one she's more jealous of.
Yeah, she just
Mhm.
wants to be a part of this.
Yeah.
somehow.
But then they all
This sounds
go
so
out.
good, but dang, guys, I don't know how much
We're aiming-
room we have. It's
We're
a half
aiming
hour
high.
comedy.
We're aiming high
It's a
for
half
your.
That feels
hour.
good. Yeah, I was trying to get it to maybe.
This is an episode where Deborah and Ava,
different
like,
kind
I
of-
guess, take a nap, and we just.
Yeah, I don't
That
know
is
if we have
actually
room for the full story of all
it
three
is a
of them.
challenge. It is a challenge in the show is to like give us enough room to. I mean, we really we spend a lot of time servicing the ensemble because they're so fantastic. All of the cast that we have, but it is hard.
What about Jimmy dating? Do we see his dating life in the next season?
You know what's crazy? Again, it's another thing that we would love to do. We just haven't had. We find that the stories of all of the ensemble work best when they dovetail. And so unless Jimmy or
Mhm.
Kayla were dating someone that somehow impacted the
Yes.
lives of other characters,
Yeah.
sometimes it's tricky because it would feel a little bit siloed. Like, for instance, when Marcus dates Wilson, the water cop, played by Johnny Sibley,
Mhm.
it's great because it's Deborah's sworn enemy. It's like the worst person for him to date. So it's kind of a secret. It just like gives us fuel.
Yeah. Well, I get the feeling, and so Deborah's already starting to use some of her friends and people for her show, but that seems like that's the direction things are going, even on her show, is all the people around her, they're sort of like her Guillermo, to once again use a Jimmy Kimmel reference.
That's
But, so they all sort of have their, why isn't Josefina doing something on?
I know. Right. Because she has
Up All
Kiki
Night,
do
yeah.
strip poker, right?
Yeah.
Her blackjack dealer is doing strip poker. But she kind of has a sidekick now in Dance Mom. Julianne Nicholson has kind of taken that
Well,
role.
But Dance Mom's got some issues. So
Some major issues.
I-
And just wait till this week. Although, again, this might air after.
yeah.
So ready? Wait
But-
until
Wait till
that
now.
week.
Yeah.
Or remember that week?
No, I mean, I've been enjoying the blurring of reality with the press. I've been seeing these Dance Mom stories out there on a rival publication, but that's
Well, hey, they broke it. I'm sorry to say. But you're getting this exclusive. You're getting this exclusive right now.
exactly. No, Julia, she's been great too. Yeah,
She is
the guest
so good.
The guest
talented.
stars.
We had
have
so
been
much fun.
She's so funny, and it was so genius to cast her because she's such an amazing actor and has like so many serious roles. But that's the kind of person that would commit. That's the kind of performer that commit and make
Yes.
it feel really real.
And
Yeah.
she does commit.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
And she gives so much like variety in terms of
Mhm.
takes. I mean, she did so many different things and it was all good.
Yeah.
She was hard to edit because there was so much great material.
Now there's like 100 people though on the internet who all say that they're the real Dance Mom. Have you seen that? Like everyone says
Well, that's
they're
the thing.
real
There
Dance
are a
Mom.
lot of people that dance on TikTok.
Yes.
Bless them, love them. And yes, they are all part of a vibrant community that we love and honor. But, there's a lot of them. So it was kind of an
amalgamation. as they
amalgamation.
say.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, excited for the future of Jimmy and Kayla, and
We're
we've
Thank
got
you,
many
we are
different
too.
ideas
There
floating.
are.
So
This is the truth. In breaking already, we have too many ideas
Oh,
to even fit.
can't the
Like,
episode just be longer?
They could. I mean, they could.
can't you do like
people-
the Pit next season? Do like 15 episodes? Just
Yeah.
just keep.
That's really hard. I'll tell you
going.
why. Because we write them all before we shoot them. Because the
Mhm.
three of us, Jen, Lucia, and I, are on set every day, so we can't, we can't run the room while we're shooting, which means we really can't do more
15.
than 10.
Yeah.
Unless we give you a longer break. But I don't know. I don't know if we want to take.
People are going to be
We took a really long break.
really
between-
angry if they don't get that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think
Mhm.
we had such a break with the strikes and with Jean's cardiac issue that I don't know. It feels like we feel almost a responsibility to deliver them, and to keep the momentum because people seem to really have caught on even more to the show,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is great. Which
All
it feels rare.
Well-
We're also like, God, we're doing a 5th season of a comedy. We have to do it.
Yeah.
Well, people keep saying better and better.
I know. It's crazy.
The incumbent Emmy comedy winner, Hacks. That's my
That was
voiceover.
good. That was very good. That was very
was
like
good.
trailerized.
Yeah.
Hope
That
to
was
see
good.
you guys soon at the Americana.
Oh, please.
You will.
Meet you at Sprinkles.
All
You
right.
will see us
Oh no,
there.
Sprinkles.
I'll get you
is gone.
Cinnabon. I know it's a different, it is a different vendor, but you know,
But yeah,
that would actually be my preference, to be honest.
yeah. Bring back
Oh
Sprinkles.
yeah, Cinnabon.
Oh,
You know, I was
Cinnabon?
addicted to the Mocha
Cupcake.
Chill for like,
What was it?
the Mocha Chill was like a coffee
Oh my
chocolate drink,
God,
and I was
love
addicted.
that kind of stuff.
From
I used to
7th grade
drink those
till
frappuccinos every day.
Me too.
Really
Me
crazy
too.
amount
It's
of
a
sugar that I was having.
1,200 calories. Crazy.
I was
I'm-
having that every other day.
Me too. I was sucking it down every day. I used to offer in college to drive people to the airport because there was one at the airport.
No.
And I would say, like, if you can get me a couple,
A couple.
I'll pick you up from the airport. Yeah.
Like
I would have them bring like 4 and I would put them in my dorm fridge. And they would, here's the other thing, they would congeal. They would get like thick. It was
Yeah.
bad.
Wow, I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
See-
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Please. Lucia used to do that when we were first doing improv. She used to go to Penn Station and bring me a Mocha Chill.
Oh my god.
That's the way to my heart.
That's love.
That is love.
That
I
is
was like,
love.
oh, she sees me.
You're not
She's
even that
listening.
much of a sweet tooth guy.
Well, not anymore.
Okay. You had to cut yourself
I
off.
kind of
the-
OD'd. Literally
Yeah.
OD'd on it.
Oh well, I also was used to drink full Coca-Cola, not diet.
Okay.
Huge
You're not
McDonald's
alone.
Coke.
Not alone. A lot of people
And
do that.
now I don't have sugar like that anymore.
You stopped.
I've cut myself
What made
off
you stop?
because the doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the blood sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like blood sugar.
Mine was bad too.
Was really bad. So now I don't do that, and I eat the glow donuts. You tell
The
me
Glow
about.
Nuts, guys. Let's plug Glow Nuts. Glow Nuts
Glow Nuts?
is an amazing company. They make
Mhm.
donutty things. They are like healthy donuts, and they are
The healthy
so good.
donuts. I eat stuff like that, or sometimes a little bite of dessert or something. But I don't
Yeah.
eat sugar like that anymore.
Me either. And once you go off, you don't really want
you
it.
Can't.
No.
The Hacks Diet, everyone. This has been the Hacks Diet. All right.
It's important to talk about. Sugar is important to talk about.
Sugar is addicting. It
Yeah.
actually is sick the way we're poisoning our country.
Okay, this is political, and I like this. This is what we need. I need you to be more political.
Guys,
Yeah.
she dates RFK Jr. next season.
Oh.
Wait, do you know
oh,
that those
God.
smoothie drinks, the health smoothie drinks, guys, those like
Yes.
ones everyone drinks, honey, there's about 40 grams of sugar in those.
No, really?
Yeah, added.
Wait, which ones?
I'm not kidding.
Just like a
just a like I don't know the brand name, but I don't even want to drag their asses. But
got it.
it's like I'll tell you off.
Yeah.
Off. Actually,
Off.
I actually don't know. It's the you know what? It's like the ones that you see everywhere.
Right.
It's like smoothie drink.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
They'll have like the blue machine. Okay,
Yeah,
there I
that's
am.
about- yeah, there we go.
It literally has so much. Maybe not even that brand, but this health drinks. You look at the sugar; it's literally 40 grams.
Just drink a
dangerous.
sparkling water. Like
I love
with a little
sparkling
bit of-
water. I love sparkling water.
Yeah, that's
I thought about getting married to the Pellegrino plant. I'm not even
that's
I bet it sounds.
That's so pretentious. You got to
beautiful.
edit that right out, right?
No, you got to put it in twice.
Yeah, we
That's
thought
so
about
good.
it.
That's
We thought about it. I
glam.
think you can.
that's the headline.
I want to
We
see a picture.
love sparkling water.
Yeah, that's
Wait, what does it look like? Just beautiful.
It's on the label. It's like a villa kind of thing.
like going to
Yeah.
France and actually getting married at the Pellegrino plant.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
that some places like that have like some brands like that have amazing. I went to a Kohler spa. Kohler.
You did?
Oh,
the like
the sink.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
beautiful,
cool. I bet. Where was
beautiful.
that?
We went to one in Wisconsin or Madison or
Really?
something.
That's
I
cool.
could be getting the location wrong. We were all over the place.
We maybe should have a podcast, Jimmy Kayla
I
podcast,
know,
because we are starting to.
you actually making me.
I would
making it
love
flow
to
out
do
of
it.
Me. Like I'm
Oh my
casually
God.
just.
This is
I
good.
could talk
Yeah.
about smoothies and sugar all day.
The Lusac and Schaefer
You're so
Lusac
easy
pod.
to talk to, both of you are.
Seriously, we
Hey.
were supposed to end this a while ago, but I just like love hearing you guys talk about random shit.
Oh God! All right,
All right, we're gonna end it here.
random. Oh, I thought this was profound. I thought it was political and profound. Random shit. Oh, why am I here? What am I doing?
You heard it here first.
Oh my
Kayla
God.
dating RFK Jr. next season on Hacks.
Again, what?
It's going to be amazing. See y'all then. Bye.
Love you.
That's Megan Stalter and Paul W. Downs of HBO Max's Hacks. All of season 4 is now available to binge. And that's it for this edition of Variety's Awards Circuit Podcast. Michael Schneider is the producer and Aaron Greenewald is the editor. Be sure to subscribe to the Awards Circuit Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts. Also, head on over to Variety.com and click on the Awards Circuit tab to find the latest awards predictions and key races, as well as your daily fix of news, analysis, and reviews. For Jazz Tanke, Emily Longaretta, and Clayton Davis, I'm Michael Schneider, and we'll see you on the circuit.